Welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to talk about something that millions of English learners dream about. Speaking English like a native speaker. Many people study English for years. They learn grammar rules. They memorize vocabulary. They watch English videos. But when it is finally time to speak, they become nervous. Their mind becomes blank. Their speaking becomes slow, and their confidence disappears. Why does this happen? Because speaking English naturally is not only about knowing words. It is about listening, confidence, pronunciation, rhythm, daily practice, and training your brain to think in English. Native speakers do not translate every sentence inside their mind. English became natural for them through constant exposure and daily communication. The good news is this: you do not need to live in America or England to sound more natural in English. You can train yourself step by step. In this video, you will learn powerful techniques that can help you speak more fluently, sound more natural, improve pronunciation, and communicate confidently in real-life conversations. And if you practice these lessons daily, your English can improve much faster than you imagine. So relax, focus carefully, and try to repeat the sentences with confidence. Because today, you are not only learning English, you are training yourself to speak English naturally like a confident speaker. Lesson 1. Listen to English every day. One of the biggest secrets to speaking English like a native speaker is listening. Many English learners focus too much on grammar books, vocabulary lists, and memorizing rules. But they do not spend enough time listening to real English. That is why speaking often feels slow, unnatural, and difficult. The truth is simple. Your brain learns language through exposure. Native speakers became fluent because they heard English constantly since childhood. They listened every day, at home, in school, on television, with friends, and during daily life. Slowly, their brain naturally learned pronunciation, rhythm, sentence patterns, tone, and expressions. This is why listening is extremely powerful. The more English you hear, the more natural English begins feeling. Another important truth is this: listening trains the brain automatically. When you listen regularly, your brain slowly starts recognizing common words, pronunciation patterns, sentence structure, and natural speaking flow. At first, English may sound very fast and confusing. That is normal. Many learners become frustrated because they cannot understand everything immediately. But understanding grows slowly through repetition. Your brain needs time to adapt. Another major mistake learners make is listening only occasionally. Language learning requires regular exposure. Listening once a week is not enough. Daily listening creates real improvement. Even 20 or 30 minutes every day can create huge long-term progress. Consistency matters much more than perfection. Another important thing is choosing understandable English. Some learners try listening to extremely difficult content too early. Then they feel discouraged. Start with simple English you can partially understand. For example, podcasts for learners, simple conversations, slow English videos, audiobooks for beginners, easy interviews. Step by step, your listening ability becomes stronger. Another powerful lesson is active listening. Many people play English in the background while doing other things but never truly focus. Real improvement happens when you listen carefully. Pay attention to pronunciation, emotion, pauses, connected speech, and sentence structure. Notice how native speakers actually sound. This helps your speaking become more natural too. Another important truth is this: listening improves pronunciation automatically. The brain copies what it hears repeatedly. If you constantly hear natural English, your pronunciation slowly improves too. You begin noticing how words connect, how stress changes meaning, and how natural rhythm works. This is extremely important for sounding more fluent. Another major problem is fear of not understanding everything. Many learners panic when they miss words. But native speakers also do not focus on understanding every single word constantly. Focus on understanding the main idea first. Understanding improves gradually. Do not stop listening because it feels difficult. Difficulty is part of growth. Another helpful habit is repetition. Listen to the same audio multiple times. The first time you may understand very little. The second time, more words become clear. The third time, your brain recognizes patterns more easily. Repetition trains the ears powerfully. Another important lesson is copying native speakers. After listening to short sentences, repeat them aloud. Copy pronunciation, rhythm, tone, and emotion. This trains your mouth and ears together. Many learners understand English better than they can speak because they practice listening but never practice speaking aloud. Use your voice. Another powerful truth is this: the brain learns faster through imitation. Children learn language by listening and copying constantly. English learners can improve the same way. Another important thing is daily exposure. Surround yourself with English regularly. Listen while walking, exercising, cooking, cleaning, or traveling. Small listening moments throughout the day create huge improvement over time. Another major lesson is patience. Many people quit because progress feels slow, but listening skill develops quietly. One day you suddenly realize, I understand much more than before. That improvement comes from repeated exposure over time. Another important truth is this: listening builds speaking confidence. When learners hear natural English repeatedly, conversations begin feeling less scary. The brain becomes more familiar with English patterns. This reduces fear during speaking. Another powerful thing is emotional listening. Do not only listen to educational material, listen to content you enjoy too. For example, stories, funny conversations, interviews, motivational videos, podcasts about your interests. Enjoyable listening increases consistency. Another important lesson is pronunciation awareness. Notice how native speakers reduce sounds, connect words, and change pronunciation during fast speech. Real spoken English often sounds different from textbook English. Listening helps learners understand real communication better. Another major problem is depending too much on subtitles. Subtitles can help in the beginning, but learners should slowly challenge themselves to listen without reading everything constantly. This strengthens listening ability faster. Another important truth is this: fluent speaking begins with strong listening. You cannot naturally produce language that your brain rarely hears. Input matters greatly. Another helpful habit is creating a listening routine. For example, morning podcast, English video during lunch, audiobook before sleep. Small routines create consistency naturally. Another powerful lesson is confidence. Do not become discouraged if listening feels difficult now. Every fluent English speaker once struggled too. Improvement comes through patience and repetition. Another important thing is trusting the process. Your brain is learning even when progress feels invisible. Every listening session matters. Every minute of exposure matters. The learners who improve fastest are usually learners who stay consistent. So remember this carefully. If you want to speak English like a native speaker, you must listen to English every day. Listen carefully. Listen consistently. Repeat what you hear. Stay patient. Because the more natural English enters your ears, the more natural English will come out of your mouth. Lesson 2. Stop translating everything. One of the biggest reasons many English learners struggle while speaking is mental translation. Many people first think in their native language, then try translating every sentence into English inside their mind. This creates slow speaking, hesitation, confusion, and stress. The brain becomes overloaded. While speaking, learners often think, how do I translate this? What is the correct grammar? What word should I use? Because of this, conversations feel unnatural and difficult. Native speakers do not translate mentally. They think directly in English. That is why their speaking feels faster and smoother. If you want to sound more natural in English, you must slowly train your brain to think in English too. This does not happen overnight. It happens step by step through daily practice. Another important truth is this: translation slows fluency greatly. Imagine trying to speak while constantly changing languages inside your mind. The brain becomes slower because it is doing too many things at the same time. Thinking, translating, checking grammar, and worrying about mistakes. This creates pressure. That is why many learners know English, but still struggle during real conversations. Their brain depends too much on translation. Another major problem is trying to create perfect sentences constantly. Many learners believe every sentence must sound advanced and grammatically perfect. But real communication does not work that way. Native speakers often use simple, fast, natural sentences. You do not need complicated English to sound fluent. Simple English spoken naturally is powerful. That is why thinking directly in simple English matters so much. Start with tiny thoughts. For example, I'm tired. I need water. The weather is hot. I'm hungry. I need to study. These small thoughts train the brain slowly. At first, it may feel strange. That is normal. Your brain has spent years thinking in another language. Changing mental habits takes time. Be patient with yourself. Another powerful lesson is reducing fear. Many learners panic because they think too much before speaking. They fear grammar mistakes, wrong vocabulary, or embarrassment. This fear increases translation habits even more. But fluent speaking grows through relaxed communication. Do not stop every second to mentally correct yourself. Focus on communication first. Perfection can improve later. Another important thing is using English during daily life. Practice simple English thoughts while doing normal activities. For example, while cooking, I'm making breakfast. While walking, I'm going to the store. While studying, I need to finish this work. This daily mental practice is extremely powerful. It trains your brain to connect English directly with real life. Another important truth is this: the brain learns through repetition. The more often you think in English, the easier it becomes. At first, your English thoughts may feel slow and simple. But slowly, the brain adapts. This is how fluency develops naturally. Another major mistake learners make is depending too much on dictionary translation. Some people translate every single word constantly. This creates dependency. Instead, try understanding ideas directly in English. For example, when learning the word hungry, do not only memorize translation, connect it with feeling. Connect English directly with meaning and experience. This helps the brain think more naturally. Another powerful lesson is visualization. When learning English words, imagine pictures and situations instead of translating everything mentally. For example, if you hear apple, imagine the fruit directly. Do not first think in another language. This strengthens direct English thinking. Another important thing is speaking aloud. Thinking silently helps, but speaking aloud trains fluency much faster. Describe your environment in English. The room is quiet. My phone is on the table. I'm feeling relaxed today. This trains natural sentence creation. Another major truth is this: fluent speakers do not always speak perfectly. They speak comfortably. Comfort comes from repeated usage. That is why consistent practice matters more than perfect grammar knowledge alone. Another important lesson is listening. Daily listening helps reduce translation habits too. When you hear English repeatedly, your brain slowly begins recognizing English patterns automatically. You stop translating every sentence because English starts feeling more familiar. This is why listening and thinking practice work together. Another powerful thing is accepting simplicity. Many learners try sounding smart too early. But native-like speaking often sounds simple and natural. Do not fear basic English. Mastering simple English creates strong fluency foundations. Mistakes are normal during mental transition. Sometimes you may forget words or mix languages. That is okay. Do not panic. Keep practicing calmly. The brain improves gradually. Another helpful habit is journaling in English. Write simple daily thoughts. Today, I woke up early. I practiced English for 1 hour. I feel motivated today. Writing strengthens direct English thinking greatly. Another important lesson is avoiding overthinking. Fluent speaking becomes difficult when the brain constantly analyzes everything. Relax your mind. Trust simple English. Communication matters most. Another major truth is this: thinking directly in English creates faster speaking. The brain responds more naturally because it removes the extra translation step. That is why native-like fluency becomes easier over time. Another powerful lesson is consistency. You do not need huge study sessions. Small daily English thinking habits are enough. Even a few minutes daily creates improvement slowly. Another important thing is patience. Mental language habits developed over many years cannot change instantly. Give yourself time. Every day of practice matters. Every English thought matters. Another truth is this: fluency is not magic. It is the result of repeated exposure and repeated usage. The more English becomes part of your daily thinking, the more natural speaking becomes. So remember this carefully. Stop translating everything constantly. Think simple thoughts in English. Use English during daily life. Speak without overthinking. Trust the learning process. Because when your brain starts thinking directly in English, your speaking begins sounding more natural, faster, and more fluent. Lesson 3. Practice shadowing. Shadowing is one of the most powerful techniques for speaking English more naturally. Many English learners study grammar for years, but still sound slow, nervous, robotic, or unnatural while speaking. Why? Because they understand English mentally, but their mouth is not trained for real communication. Speaking is not only a knowledge skill, it is also a physical skill. Your mouth, tongue, ears, and brain must work together smoothly. That is why shadowing is extremely powerful. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and repeating immediately after them. You copy their pronunciation, rhythm, tone, emotion, speed, and speaking style. This trains your brain and mouth together at the same time. Native-like speaking grows through imitation. Children learn language by listening and copying constantly. English learners can improve the same way. Another important truth is this: your brain learns through repeated sound patterns. The more natural English you repeat, the more natural your own English becomes. That is why shadowing helps learners sound smoother and more confident. Many learners understand English while listening, but struggle when trying to speak. Why? Because passive understanding is different from active speaking. Shadowing forces the mouth to practice real communication physically. This creates fluency faster. Another major problem is speaking too slowly. Many learners stop after every word because they think too much. Shadowing reduces overthinking. It trains faster sentence flow naturally. The brain begins learning how English sounds in real conversations. Another important thing is pronunciation. Many learners pronounce words separately and unnaturally, but native speakers often connect words smoothly. For example, "What are you doing?" may sound more like, "What are you doing?" Shadowing helps learners notice these natural speech patterns. This improves listening and speaking together. Another powerful lesson is rhythm. Native speakers do not speak every word with equal stress. English has rhythm and flow. Some words become stronger. Some become softer. Some connect together naturally. Shadowing trains this automatically. That is why learners begin sounding more natural over time. Another important truth is this: you do not need difficult materials for shadowing. Start simple. Use short conversations, podcasts, interviews, YouTube videos, or beginner listening material. Choose English you can mostly understand. At first, short sentences are enough. For example, "How's your day going?" "I'm really excited today." "That sounds interesting." Listen carefully. Then repeat immediately after the speaker. Copy everything: emotion, pronunciation, pauses, and energy. Another major mistake learners make is focusing only on words. Shadowing is not only about memorizing vocabulary, it is about copying natural speaking behavior. Pay attention to tone, speed, stress, emotion, and rhythm. That is where native-like speaking develops. Another important lesson is using your voice confidently. Many learners practice silently inside their mind, but shadowing requires speaking aloud. Your mouth needs training. Speaking loudly improves pronunciation, fluency, confidence, and speaking comfort. Do not whisper. Use your voice clearly. Another powerful truth is this: embarrassment slows improvement. Some learners avoid speaking loudly because they feel shy. But improvement requires practice. Fluent speakers became fluent through repeated speaking, not silence. Another helpful habit is recording your voice. After shadowing, record yourself speaking. Then compare your pronunciation with the native speaker. This helps you notice weak pronunciation, unnatural rhythm, or speaking hesitation. Self-awareness improves speaking greatly. Another important thing is repetition. Do not shadow a sentence only once. Repeat it many times until it feels smooth and natural. Repetition creates muscle memory. Your mouth slowly becomes more comfortable producing English sounds. Fluency is built through automatic speaking patterns. Shadowing trains automaticity. Instead of building every sentence slowly through grammar thinking, your brain begins producing common patterns naturally. This creates smoother communication. Another important lesson is consistency. Shadowing works best with daily practice. Even 15 or 20 minutes daily can create powerful long-term improvement. Small, repeated effort matters greatly. Another powerful thing is emotional imitation. Native speakers use emotion naturally. Excitement, surprise, sadness, humor, confidence. Many learners sound flat because they focus only on words. Shadowing teaches emotional speaking too. This makes conversations sound more human and natural. Listening and speaking improve together through shadowing. As pronunciation improves, listening comprehension improves too. You begin understanding native speakers more easily because your brain becomes familiar with natural English sounds. Another major mistake learners make is trying to sound perfect immediately. Do not pressure yourself too much. Native-like speaking develops slowly. Focus on improvement, not perfection. Every shadowing session helps your brain adapt. Another important lesson is enjoying the process. Choose videos or conversations you genuinely enjoy. For example, funny conversations, motivational videos, podcasts, movie scenes, interviews. Enjoyable practice increases consistency. Another powerful truth is this: shadowing builds confidence. The more often you successfully repeat natural English, the more comfortable speaking becomes. Your fear slowly decreases. Another important thing is patience. At first, shadowing may feel difficult and fast. That is normal. Slowly, your ears and mouth adapt. One day, you suddenly notice, I sound much smoother than before. That improvement comes from repeated practice over time. Another major lesson is trust. Trust the process. The brain learns quietly through repetition. Even when progress feels invisible, improvement is happening. Every repeated sentence strengthens fluency. So remember this carefully. If you want to speak English like a native speaker, practice shadowing daily. Listen carefully. Repeat loudly. Copy natural rhythm and pronunciation. Stay consistent. Because the more natural English you repeat, the more natural your own English will become. Lesson 4. Learn real daily English. Many English learners spend years studying difficult grammar rules and advanced vocabulary, but still struggle during simple, real conversations. Why? Because there is a big difference between textbook English and real daily English. Real native speakers usually do not speak in extremely complicated sentences all the time. They use simple expressions, natural phrases, contractions, emotional reactions, and casual daily English. That is why many learners feel confused when talking with native speakers. They understand grammar and books, but real conversations sound completely different. If you want to speak more naturally, you must learn the kind of English people actually use in daily life. This is extremely important. Many learners memorize rare vocabulary words they may never use, while ignoring common daily expressions native speakers use constantly. For example, "What's going on?" "No worries. I'm just kidding." "That sounds great." "I'm running late." "Take care." "I have no idea." These expressions appear everywhere in real communication, at work, with friends, in movies, on social media, during phone calls. That is why learning practical English matters so much. Another important truth is this: fluency is not only about difficult words. Real fluency means speaking naturally and comfortably in real situations. Simple, natural English often sounds more fluent than overly complicated English. Many learners try too hard to sound advanced. Because of this, they create unnatural sentences that native speakers rarely use. But native-like communication usually sounds relaxed and simple. Another major problem is learning English only for exams. Many students study grammar exercises, translation, and memorization, but never learn how real conversations actually sound. Then when they hear native speakers talking naturally, they panic. Why? Because spoken English moves differently from textbook English. Native speakers connect words, shorten expressions, use casual reactions, and speak emotionally. That is why exposure to real English is extremely important. Another helpful habit is listening to authentic conversations. Watch interviews, podcasts, vlogs, conversations, or TV shows with natural communication. Pay attention to common phrases, emotional reactions, and sentence patterns. Notice how native speakers really speak. This helps your English become more natural automatically. Another powerful lesson is learning chunks instead of single words. Many learners memorize vocabulary separately. For example, only learning the word busy. But natural English often works in phrases. I'm really busy today. I've been busy lately. Sorry, I'm a little busy right now. Learning complete expressions improves fluency much faster. Your brain begins producing natural sentence patterns automatically. Another important truth is this. Real communication depends heavily on common repeated phrases. Native speakers use many expressions repeatedly in daily life. That is why repetition matters greatly. Practice useful daily expressions again and again until they feel natural. Another major mistake learners make is fearing casual English. Some people think contractions or informal expressions are bad English, but native speakers use casual English constantly. For example, I'm instead of I am, don't instead of do not, gonna instead of going to. Learning these patterns improves both listening and speaking greatly. Another important lesson is emotional reactions. Native speakers often use short natural reactions during conversations. Really? No way. That's awesome. Exactly. I know, right? These small reactions make conversations sound alive and natural. Without emotional reactions, speech may sound robotic. Another powerful thing is context learning. Learn English connected with real situations. For example, restaurant English, shopping English, phone call English, travel English, friend conversations. This helps your brain connect language with real life instead of isolated grammar rules. Another important truth is this. English becomes easier when it becomes practical. The brain remembers useful communication more easily because it connects directly with real experiences. Another major lesson is confidence. Many learners hesitate because they overthink every sentence. But native speakers often speak quickly and naturally without analyzing every grammar rule mentally. You do not need perfect English to sound natural. You need comfort and repeated exposure. Another important thing is speaking naturally instead of perfectly. Some learners pause constantly because they try making every sentence flawless. This destroys conversation flow. Communication matters more than perfection. Simple, clear English is powerful. Another helpful habit is copying useful expressions from native speakers. When you hear a good phrase, repeat it and practice using it in different situations. For example, that makes sense. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure about that. These phrases improve fluency greatly because they appear often in real communication. Another powerful lesson is consistency. Learning real daily English requires repeated exposure. The more often you hear and use natural expressions, the more automatic they become. Small daily practice creates huge long-term improvement. Another important truth is this: native-like speaking is not about sounding fancy. It is about sounding comfortable, smooth, and natural. That comes from real listening, real speaking, and real communication practice. Another major mistake learners make is avoiding speaking because they fear mistakes. But natural communication grows through usage. Every conversation improves fluency. Every real interaction teaches something valuable. Another important thing is enjoying the language. English should not feel only like stressful study. Language is for connection, communication, humor, emotions, and daily life. Enjoy the process of using English naturally. Another powerful lesson is patience. You will not sound completely natural immediately. That is normal. Native-like speaking develops slowly through listening, repetition, practice, and experience. Trust the process. Another important truth is this: the more real English you hear and use, the more natural your English becomes. So remember this carefully. Do not only study textbook English, learn real daily English too. Practice useful expressions. Listen to natural conversations. Use simple English confidently. Speak comfortably without overthinking, because real fluency grows when English becomes part of real-life communication. Lesson 5. Improve your pronunciation slowly. Pronunciation is very important if you want to sound more natural in English. You do not need a perfect American or British accent, but clear pronunciation helps people understand you more easily. Many learners know English words, but pronounce them incorrectly because they rarely practice speaking aloud. That is why daily pronunciation practice matters greatly. Speak slowly and clearly. Focus on word stress, connected speech, and repeating difficult sounds regularly. Listen carefully to native speakers and copy their pronunciation. Another important truth is this: good pronunciation develops slowly through repetition. Do not become frustrated if improvement feels slow. Small daily practice creates powerful long-term results. Lesson 6. Speak English every day. Many people study English silently for years, but rarely speak. Then they wonder why speaking feels difficult. Speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth needs training. The more you speak English, the easier speaking becomes. Practice. Talking alone, speaking with friends, recording your voice, or reading aloud. Even simple speaking practice helps greatly. Another important truth is this: confidence grows through usage. The more you use English daily, the less fear you feel. Do not wait for perfect English before speaking. Start speaking with the English you already know. Lesson 7. Learn how native speakers really talk. Native speakers often speak differently from textbook English. They use contractions, connected words, short reactions, and casual expressions. For example, I am becomes I'm. Want to becomes wanna. Going to becomes gonna. Learning these natural speech patterns helps learners understand conversations more easily. Another important thing is rhythm and tone. Native speakers use emotion while speaking. Their speech sounds smooth and connected. Listening carefully helps learners copy this natural flow slowly. Lesson 8. Stop fearing mistakes. Fear is one of the biggest reasons learners struggle with speaking. Many people stay silent because they fear grammar mistakes, pronunciation mistakes, or embarrassment. But mistakes are part of learning. Every fluent English speaker once made mistakes too. Another important truth is this: confidence grows through imperfect action. Do not wait until your English becomes perfect. Start speaking now. Small conversations daily create huge long-term improvement. Fluency grows through practice, not silence. Lesson 9. Build confidence through repetition. Repetition is extremely important for natural speaking. The brain learns language through repeated patterns. That is why repeating useful sentences daily improves fluency greatly. For example, how's your day going? That sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. Practice common sentences until they feel automatic. This builds speed, confidence, pronunciation, and smoother speaking. Another important truth is this: the more often you repeat natural English, the more natural your own English becomes. Lesson 10. Make English part of your life. The fastest learners are usually people who make English part of their daily routine. They listen daily, think daily, read daily, and speak daily. English becomes part of normal life instead of only a school subject. Another important truth is this: fluency grows through consistency. You do not need perfect study sessions. Small daily practice matters greatly. Watch English videos, listen to English podcasts, read simple English books. Think and speak in English daily. The more English becomes part of your lifestyle, the more natural your English will become. Speaking English like a native speaker does not happen in one day. It happens through daily listening, daily speaking, repetition, confidence, and patience. Do not fear mistakes. Do not compare yourself with others. And do not give up because progress feels slow. Every small practice session matters. The more English becomes part of your daily life, the more natural your English will become. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you, like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful English learning lessons. And remember, fluent English is not magic. It is the result of daily practice and consistency.